Well, guys, today we're going to start with a sequel to my favorite movie, Batman from 1989.
Wait, what?
Well, here, you see the thing, I said it was a sequel because, Jack Nicholson returns, and as we all know, Jack Nicholson was the guy who played in The Shining, and he plays the exact same character in this movie. He even makes his name as Jack.
Huh. Okay, in that case, I'm just going to assume Heatwave from the Arrowverse brought him back.
Anyway, so this is obviously a DC Comics movie, which CinemaSins always fucking sins this kind of stuff. But yes, this movie basically starts off with some kind of nice intro that is really slow, apparently. Anyway, yes, this is a Tim Burton movie as well, and then we can see this nice view of Gotham City, which looks like it was very painted, and this looks like it's some industrialized town where you see a family try to get a taxi, but every taxi apparently is obviously gone, but these guys, criminals, literally stop them and take the husband's wallet. And no, this is not Bruce Wayne and his parents, because Batman's on that building, very animated right there.
Yeah, and basically, so Batman decides to come in and, well, literally stop them, and everyone is just wondering, who the heck is this guy? Is he a man, or is he a bad... What is this creature?
Yeah, and basically he beats up the bad guys, and basically this all gets broadcasted in this kind of press conference where Harvey Dent is also a character in this.
And no, he is not Two-Face. He turns into him off-screen and returns, because he's a villain in Forever.
Anyway, so basically we have Jack Nicholson over here, who's, yes, this guy's name is actually Jack, too, and this is Alex, who's one of the reporters, and then this guy just works with one of the Gotham City Police, and Jack over here basically has a good point and tells him all the stuff he does not know, and before he tries to actually kill him. And then we get to see this, basically, I would say the Daily Bugle side of Gotham, because this is literally where all the papers and everything goes, and this is Vicky Vale. This is, yes, spoiler alert, this is Batman's love interest.
For this movie, because it always changes.
Anyway, Alex here tries to get a date with her, but she obviously refuses. And then we get to this tall building, which I believe that, well, this guy who literally works with Jack.
Yeah, and basically, even though, well, he says that, we get cut into a party where we see Alfred basically catering to a bunch of people. And Vicky's just wondering, where the heck is Bruce Wayne?
Yeah, basically she looks for Bruce Wayne to talk to him about something, and when she comes up to him, he basically does not even tell her that he's Bruce Wayne himself. Yeah. Maybe because he was just nervous of her good looks.
It's actually a clever reference because when this movie came out, people were actually wondering, could Michael Keaton do a good job as Batman or not?
Anyway, so basically Alex and Vicky Vale try to go look for Commissioner Gordon, and then they bump into Bruce Wayne, who basically meets with them and everything. And Bruce Wayne basically analyzes the conversation those two guys were having during the party earlier, just to see if he can get some evidence of something.
Yeah, and basically, well, he actually seems to be, well, doing them in the middle of this crime drama type of thing. Jack is just gets caught out of nowhere.
And basically, Commissioner Gordon actually literally tells him that he has to get out. And he kept sabotaging the entire place just to make everything very hard for the police to literally come through and so as such. And basically, Batman beats up these bad guys again, and literally Commissioner Gordon sees them as well as Batman, and when Batman literally tries to pick him up, Commissioner Gordon is literally put at gunpoint, as Joker literally thinks that he has the power over Batman, as if he tried to kill him, Commissioner Gordon will die himself. But basically, because when he tried to pull the gun on Batman, basically Batman disappeared from somewhere, which Jack Nicholson is basically really, really confused at where he went. Anyway, then he basically sees the guy who worked at the police department and basically shoots him in the chest.
Yeah, and then out of nowhere, Batman comes in, and then basically he gets kicked his butt out of nowhere for a sec while Jack is trying to do his getaway. Batman does one as well.
Yeah, basically that's when Jack fell into the bottle of chemicals, and then...
But not before using an axe like he did in The Shining.
Well, yeah. Anyway, then we get back to basically the place where they do all the newspapers, and they have to find out what Bruce Wayne is doing. And basically, Vicky Vale is basically, dating Bruce Wayne now.
Yeah, basically, so they have this dinner that's for some reason across the table. Anyway, so Jack basically is, well, getting his bandages taken off, and the doctor said he did everything he could to repair him.
Unfortunately, when he looks at his face, it's completely hideous, and leaves the room completely laughing. As we all know, he's turned into the Joker.
Yeah, and it's interesting giving him the name of Jack.
Yeah, and
anyway, so Jack basically goes up to the boss that basically caused this to him, and he tells him that Jack is dead. Now you call him Joker.
And he shoots him a couple times in a very nice musical way. And basically, then he looks at all the crimes that he's basically just committed throughout the entire city by looking at the newspaper. And he sees that his wife is very shocked about what he just done to himself.
Yeah, and basically now we get cut to a bunch of guys in a meeting of some kind
Who refuse to, part with Jack's ideas about committing crimes. But instead, he just decides to shock him in a very, very gruesome way.
Yeah, and basically, however, the problem is it overheats to the point where basically the steam starts to melt the makeup that he's wearing, quote unquote, and basically then the cops show up.
No, these aren't the cops. These are Joker's henchmen who basically force these guys to work with the Joker, kind of like what happened in The Dark Knight. Anyway, so basically they want to know more evidence about Batman, but Vicky Vale's more concerned about who Bruce Wayne is and why he's so important. But he doesn't care, so he wants to just go with basically what happened with Bruce Wayne. And basically then she ends up stalking him.
Yeah, and basically then she notices, Bruce going down this alley of sorts, and she doesn't exactly know why he's going specifically there.
And he keeps on walking as she constantly keeps on following him. Yes, she's just stalking him.
Yeah, and in a clever thing as a reference to Batman's origin, he leaves this rose behind, where basically to remember his parents, because this was where they were shot.
Yeah, basically instead of putting them in a graveyard, he decides to put it in the spot that his parents were murdered, which I understand.
Yeah, it's just definitely just something. It's just like the moment you see that, it's just like you get it. That's just where they last were.
And basically, he just does this with a side of depression and just leaves, as well as with Vicky Vale coming and noticing the roses that he just put on that exact same spot. And then she starts getting suspicious of what's so important about this specific area of the city. Anyway, then we get to the main city hall, I would have to say, where Joker's henchmen are literally starting to plot something, as the town is literally having a meeting.
Yeah, and then some guy tries to take pictures where, even though this was Vicky's case for some reason.
Yeah.
Anyway, so as it continues, basically it is revealed on how Jack Nicholson is just coming in out of nowhere, and basically then Bruce Wayne spots him, and they're just wondering what the heck is going on, because what is this, a circus act?
Yeah, and it gets extremely suspicious as he basically takes his feather and literally just actually stabs this dude, which he's actually going to do.
Yeah, and basically it just comes in out of nowhere, and that just happens out of nowhere.
And Bruce Wayne sees this, as well as seeing the one last face of Joker, as well as he going completely away, as Vicky Vale is also with him.
Yeah, and basically Jack, meanwhile, is just wondering,
who is Vicky Vale, because he literally got a cock for her. Yes, I said that.
That's kind of true.
Yeah, basically he's very in love with her, and he's gonna form a plot to literally get to her.
Yeah, it's just generally a weird surprise.
And since he wants to do it, he basically starts to cut her picture out, because if you notice, he's making a collage.
Yeah, and anyway, so we got cut to the news where basically it's just out of nowhere, it's...
One of the news anchors end up starting to laugh, basically uncontrollably, because of basically the Joker, he always makes it. And then there's a commercial.
Yeah, basically, welcome everybody to the Joker's hair care products. Hello, everybody. I am the Joker. Welcome, everybody, to my show. Now, today, I'm going to be promoting this bottle of my hair care. Have you a messy hair? You can easily just dump this on, and then bang, you're able to easily have a smile on your face.
Joker basically hijacked the entire news station because he wanted to put this basic kind of hair care products and all these products from mouthwash and lipstick and whatever kind of stuff that basically turns people into some kind of wicked smile, which looks pretty fucking, creepy. And because of all these weird hair care products, they turn somebody into a weirdo, literally. And then basically because of that, people have to actually stop wearing the makeup, which makes them look very hideous on camera.
Yeah, and then as a result of that one, basically everyone just is wondering, what are they gonna do without their makeup?
Yeah, and they advise people not to use makeup at all in order to not get harmed by the Joker, obviously.
Yeah, and basically they have to really wonder about that, but as a result of that one, this woman is now wearing a mask. Anyway,
basically that was Joker's wife. And then we go to the museum part, which just has a lot of sewers, apparently, on the walls.
Yeah, and basically she is now, basically wondering where is Bruce, and I had to present her the portfolio to him.
Yeah, because basically Bruce Wayne was going to be late to this entire thing.
Yeah, and basically she basically just is enjoying her dinner while at the same time enjoying this an
Kids
art show.
reservations.
Yeah, it's actually really interesting, and also this reminds me of a specific scene of
Yeah, and
Daredevil.
while she's waiting for her food, I must imagine, she ends up actually getting a gift from somebody because this waiter here brings it from some anonymous person.
Yeah, and basically when she opens it, it reveals to be a gas mask, and she is told to put it on.
Right away because basically the Joker is causing all of this basically gas coming all the way through these sewers and vents, and this gas literally makes everybody faint and pass out completely, like literally this waiter guy over here.
Yeah, once she saw that, she immediately decided out of nowhere because of that to put that on.
Yeah, basically right away because that's what literally that note said, and now everybody's literally falling down and passing out because this is just some kind of knockout gas, and this is all part of Joker's plan because everybody's literally out, and
And then we
Joker's
get
playing a Prince song.
Yeah, and basically he's just, having the time of his life.
By destroying a bunch of the art. Literally, this is just a scene for vandalism. Like, everybody brings them paint cans, spray paint, and whatever, just to literally mess with the art. This is the whole purpose of this scene. And they're doing this while the Prince music is actually playing, which is very, very decent.
And while he's painting basically everything, like on how the Joker was here.
On this wall, for some reason, from this painting, which is complete vandalism, and will get you into a lot of trouble.
And then out of nowhere, Joker is just like, stop. I like this one in particular.
Well, no, not yet, but basically...
You know what I mean.
Yeah, but...
Look at that! Look at him!
Yeah, he basically knocks down everything while he's also dancing to the Prince music.
He's dancing. And meanwhile, after all of that, they're all just having the party, man.
And splattering paint on all the paintings, literally.
Man, being in the Joker's gang must be a lot of fun for that night.
Anyway, so he gets up to Vicky Vale and literally starts to flirt with her because he literally is in love with her the day he saw the picture.
Yeah, basically, she wants her to work for him. Anyways.
And then Joker's wife could see that actual very crazy scar on whatever that was on her face, but she still looks beautiful anyway.
Yeah, and anyway, so the Joker basically is trying to get her to join me.
Yeah, basically. And then when basically she sprays water on him, he fakes it out and makes it look like his makeup's like all over the place and uses it for a good laugh. And Batman comes in out of nowhere.
Yeah, and literally out of nowhere while Batman is trying to come in and fight, and then basically decides to take Vicky away.
And basically with all that harpoons kind of stuff, he's literally just tries to escape here by literally coming out but through the ceiling, of course, while making Vicky Vale hang on to him.
Yeah, and then as a result of that one, it leads to the Joker, just wondering what the heck is going on, and then Batman and Vicky are basically escaped through the Batmobile.
Which is like one of the coolest models ever in this entire movie.
Seriously, this is one of the coolest Batmobiles ever.
Yeah, anyway, so he escapes with the power of magic. Yes, I mean, just kidding. This is just a Batmobile. And the Joker's cars literally follow them along. And yes, this is going to become a chase scene. And basically when they're going around, Batman has some company coming when all these guys literally start crashing into things because Batman caused it for them, as well as the police chasing after them.
It is very cleverly coordinated attempt on Batman, which I gotta admit. In terms of what happens next, it is a little bit CG'd with this Batmobile, but in general, this is definitely one of the cooler Batmobiles, and it's a cool getaway attempt, and it generally succeeded.
Yeah, apparently Batman decided to abandon his Batmobile while Joker's henchmen are in his cars basically having guns on them, and they go up again.
Going up?
But it was a very clever escape plan, as well as Vicky Vale being safe and all. But let me just warn you guys, she screams a lot in this movie.
Yeah, she really does, which is part of the reason why we're not using the audio.
I mean, it's very obviously convincing, but she does it too much, and she literally
it gets annoying after a while.
Anyway, Batman decides to lay down on the floor, and then when
fakes his death, but that was when they noticed, he is human. It's just armor that he's wearing.
Yeah, and Vicky Vale literally tries to take a picture while Batman's still fighting all these guys.
Yeah, and basically it's an attempt to distract the bad guys, and it generally seems to work. Let's say good victors. Anyway, so the Batmobile returns to normal, and all the while it basically is able to fight back against them by literally making an attempt to ram everybody while getting away.
Yeah, basically Batman called it, and then they go through the woods, because this is literally how you get to the Batcave, by driving through a very, very long path.
Courtesy of Tim Burton, anyway. One thing I always like about Tim Burton as a director, he always makes these cool visual styles, which makes me happy that he worked on 2 Batman movies.
Honestly, Vicky Vale is very confused about who this guy is, but in that shot alone, you can literally tell that could be Michael Keaton.
Yeah, I mean...
A.K.A. Bruce Wayne.
A.K.A. Birdman.
Anyway, so this woods goes on for a very, very long time until they end up actually getting very close to where they're actually going. Yes, I just wonder why he is actually needing to take her to the Batcave.
Oh, that's simple, because he has no choice now but to show her something, so that way she can present it to the news.
It would have been just better because he could have just, gave it to her as just a person.
Well, maybe he didn't have it on him. I don't know.
Anyway, so basically this ride to go into the Batcave is just going really, really long, and Vicky Vale is just very confused about who she's literally with, but starts to suspect something familiar.
Yeah, she just can't put her finger on it, so basically at the moment she just rolls with it.
As well as them going right through this rock and whatnot, they literally enter the Batcave.
Yeah,
It's about fucking time.
Yeah, seriously, it took this long to finally see the Batcave.
Well, it was a very long mile of the woods and whatever, and she's very disoriented from everything that has just been happening.
Anyway, so we finally get into the Batcave itself.
A very nice shot of the Batmobile right in front of us, and then we get this entire Batcave. Yes, Vicky Vale is very, very, impressed, I would have to say.
Yeah, because generally, to quote a certain other YouTuber, this looks stunning, the Batcave.
And Batman figures out the whole problem with the whole hairspray thing and the whole thing about the Joker's hair care products of how this thing is literally harming people. And he knows that the main things that you should not combine are basically hairspray, lipstick, and that kind of stuff in order to not get harmed.
Because hairspray does not do it alone.
Yeah. And basically, he has that files to show it to Vicky Vale so that she can actually take it to the press. But she's very get suspicious about it and wondering why he couldn't have done it himself.
Which is actually a good question.
By the way, why is her mouthwash right over there?
Yeah, seriously, what the heck?
Anyway, the next day, he basically goes over to Vicky Vale's house to try to tell her the truth. Because, yes, we missed a scene where Alfred actually tried to convince him to tell Vicky Vale the truth if he really loves her.
Anyway, so Batman / Bruce is literally just like, I actually do get it. I have all this torment. I need someone by my side to help me out. So basically, he tries his best to tell her the truth.
But she keeps on talking about it, so he actually tries to get her to shut up just so he can make his point.
Which is generally just really cool to see Michael Keaton do it, because one thing is cool is how Michael Keaton, with the way he does it, it's just like you get the story. You understand the problem.
And with him trying to actually tell her what the truth is, basically he's trying to tell her that he's literally the Batman, but he can't do it because it's hard to tell someone you love that you're a real superhero, isn't it?
Yeah, it really kind of is. Imagine if you told that to your friends. Hey guys, for record, I'm actually this hero that goes fighting in the city during night.
Yeah.
And the only reason why I don't do it during the day is because if I did, well, I get a tan. Anyway, so the Joker comes in.
Yeah, Joker comes in to enter so he can just get another, touch on with Vicky Vale again as well. But thank God Bruce Wayne is here so that he can help them out.
Yeah, it's generally just nice that he was able to do that, considering the Joker had a surprise visit like that. Of course.
Because of all that crazy stuff, he literally takes Vicky Vale hostage again.
Yeah, and basically it's just like, I don't want to get kidnapped again. Anyway, so basically she reveals out of nowhere that, oh, you have company.
Yeah, basically Bruce Wayne is here.
Yeah, and basically Bruce Wayne eventually just, agrees, but not before Jack literally stating about what happened to his wife.
Yeah, basically she was actually killed.
I don't know how that happened.
And when he sees Bruce Wayne, he pulls up the gun on him, obviously, because Bruce Wayne wanted to defend himself with one of those fireplace tools. Because he literally went insane, literally.
Yeah.
I've never seen Michael Keaton go like that crazy on the Joker.
That's a new one. Anyway, so basically Bruce decides to literally
No, Bruce gets shot by the Joker.
Yeah, and then basically, Jack has this really weird laugh.
Yeah, and you may think that Michael Keaton's dead, a.k.a. Bruce Wayne.
But
yeah, and Vicky Vale thinks he's dead because she literally screams in horror.
Yeah, it's just generally an interesting vibe to see because it generally just sets off this weird, little creepy atmosphere.
And basically, he once again takes her, but not only letting her go, he literally tells her he's going to come back, and he leaves her a surprise, which makes her faint.
Yeah, that's generally a weird surprise. Anyway,
I haven't seen that joke before.
Yeah, anyway, so Harvey basically is, just trying to figure out who is the Batman. All the while, Vicky is finding out the truth about what happened to why Bruce basically left those flowers here. Anyway, so basically this guy shows her basically the truth about what happened, but not before the Joker coming in, literally showing his true face, and sort of.
And then he decides to make a deal with the entire city. And before doing that, he basically states things about himself, about how he admits he's not really a killer, but technically he is a killer because he's killed more than one people in this person in his life. And the only thing he actually starts to negotiate is that he's going to bring like a bunch of money. I don't know how much exact actually, he's gonna bring like at least $1,000 more to everybody around. He's basically giving them away for free, which everybody on the news starts to literally go insane for. And they don't want to take negotiations, but Joker doesn't care. He's
and
going
literally
to do
tosses
it.
them to the side. Anyway, so the Joker is just, well, he just says when exactly he's going to do it, and basically tells Batman, I reveal my face, are you going to reveal yours?
Yeah, this is just like a negotiation thing where he wants Batman to reveal his actual true identity. Which is
reasons.
For money, basically. And when Batman watches this thing himself, because of that, he notices that he's going to actually look through the book of newspapers because he's literally trying to remind himself about his parents' murder.
Yeah, it's basically, then we get this flashback, basically, about what exactly happened.
Anyway, they were walking out of the theater like any other Batman movie that has been portrayed here, and then this guy comes out of nowhere out of the shadows and literally threatens them. And
basically then just literally, well, murders, well, his parents, but not before Jack actually doing it. Yes, in a twist, since this is not how it actually happened in the comics, basically in this version, it is actually Jack that killed Bruce's parents.
AKA, in this movie, the Joker. So the Joker killed his parents. Yes, they shot both. He shot both of his parents while they were literally about to get robbed, and it looks like that he's actually going to shoot Bruce Wayne himself.
He didn't recognize him at first, simply because at first he was kept in the shadows, but then he actually remembers the expression he made, and once the Joker revealed what he actually looks like without all that makeup, basically it shows actually, well, the same guy who murdered his family. Anyway, so Vicky actually finds out the truth. I don't know how she got there.
Because Alfred wanted him to finally tell her, and he actually let her in here. And basically, she's very surprised that Bruce Wayne is actually Batman.
Yeah, and basically, she literally is just like on how they have to work together, and then she is going to keep this a secret, so that way, well,
just for love's sake.
Yeah, which is generally nice and all, but I'll get to that later.
And then he's ready, suited up for the upcoming event coming up. Basically, he goes into this factory where Joker basically was at, and with the power of the Batmobile, he uses his weapons to actually start to explode everything while some of his Joker henchmen actually try to get him. And when he starts shooting everything, he begins to go through the entire thing and ready to explode everything.
Yeah, and basically it generally just seems to be like an interesting chase scene overall. Because, well, he's literally getting chased out of nowhere. And
a lot of people are actually shooting him down, and they actually come after him, and then we get back to the bat shields again.
Yeah, it's generally just a really interesting vibe, and frankly, the shields themselves actually look pretty dang good.
And with the power of the Batmobile, he actually lets out some bombs.
Yeah, basically what these bombs do are just, well, let the person explode.
And then, because, like I said, he actually causes a flame and starts an explosion as he literally goes reverse and gets out of there here before he is actually harmed himself.
Yeah, and basically, as a result of that one, it literally causes one of the Joker's hideouts to be, well, destroyed. It's one of his hideouts because his crew was there.
Yeah, and he was luckily not able to be there, because if he was, Joker would be dead.
And this movie would be over right now.
And the Joker's helicopter's right over there. And Batman notices him as he keeps on calling him out, making him a reference of Birdman.
All the while, basically, this being foreshadowing of Michael Keaton's later movie, Birdman, while his back belt basically, well, slips a little bit.
After he made that turn. Anyway, so then we get back to the city where the parade actually starts. Yes, Joker has a bunch of balloons, and he's on his own parade
and then sing another Prince song. You know what it is? It's time to trust!
Meanwhile, Wolverine and Squidward decide to have a civil war.
Wait, what?
Right, that's right. Joker's basically handling all this because of his promise that he made on TV, and honestly, it's a very nice parade.
Yeah, it's generally a pretty dang cool parade. Imagine if basically that actually happened.
Yeah, with all these giant balloons and the people dancing around him, as well as them actually begging the Joker to already give him the money because they already want the money more than this parade itself.
Which reminds me of a lot of a Gotham episode, actually, but that's another story. Anyway, so basically they're giving all the money away, and that's generally just proves, well, I guess you could trust the Joker. He promised the money, they got the money. Anyway, so Batman comes in a model/animated thing, which is literally the Batwing, which is obviously one of the cooler things in this movie in general. That's saying something because a lot of things in this movie are cool.
As well as the Batmobile itself. So he has to fly into the city itself so he can start Joker's plot. Yes, because Joker's not just doing this just for himself or the fun of it. He's doing this because it's part of Joker's evil plot. And because he knows that the people around him actually trust him for what he's been doing.
From the trust!
He wants to actually, his plot is going to go off with using a gas that's going to literally kill people. Yes, his balloons are literally filled up with gas, as well as Batman has to actually try to stop this from happening. And the gas I mentioned earlier starts actually spouting out all these balloons because of the gas tanks that are attached to them. Yes, these balloons have literally small gas tanks literally on the sides of them to literally kill every single person around them because this is a deadly gas. Remember, this is not Joker's knockout gas.
Yeah, this time it's literally murdering gas. Anyway, so Vicky decides to hide in that car while Alex decides to kick, everyone's butt while putting in, a mask so that way he won't get affected. Anyway, so you get to see that while people are starting to die.
And Alex over here literally tries to actually beat up all the bad guys, including the Joker's henchmen, so that everything can be back to normal a little bit. At least he's trying to do something of substance, as well as the gas constantly keeps on flooding the city.
Which is more than what Harvey Dent is doing in this movie. Seriously, why was he here again?
Yeah, anyway, when all the balloons that Batman's literally trying to target, he literally tries to get him, as well as one of these guys actually trying to fall because one of the people actually got him from it. And he activates a little switch that actually gets this entire blade kind of thing, or a claw grabber, in order to grab all the balloons that Joker is literally actually putting on to everybody in the city. And Joker is noticing that all of his balloons are getting stolen from Batman.
Yeah, basically the Joker's just wondering, our balloons! Anyway, so Batman literally tries to toss them up into the air, and we get this really cool Batman logo.
Yeah, and just that one shot alone was just very clever. Anyway, so he literally gets back down, as well as taking care of the balloons, and Joker, just like in The Dark Knight, wanting Batman to literally hit him on the side of a city street.
Yeah, and unlike The Dark Knight, basically, he's literally just a bad shot.
Yeah, basically Batman actually activates his missiles and all of his guns literally on his Batwing, and actually tries to basically shoot Joker, but instead of that, he shoots everyone around him, but instead of actually targeting Joker, which he's trying to do, it misses, and it misses every single shot. Like, literally every shot. Like, that's nothing Batman should be doing, honestly.
Yeah, literally just, you missed!
Yeah, anyway. And Joker's standing there while he has the opportunity.
Which is just generally just, I don't know, I just like that shot alone when he pulls that gun out of there. I just love that shot.
And with that giant gun, Joker has the complete ability to shoot down the entire Batwing, despite the fact that Batman literally tries to get him with missiles and guns.
Well,
and it literally gets down.
Well, what do you expect? He pulled it literally out of his pants. Anyway, so basically, Michael Keaton / Bruce Wayne / Batman basically is caught in the crash, and basically then Vicky tries to, see if he's alright. Anyway, so basically as a result of that one, she runs there, but unfortunately the Joker comes in out of nowhere and kidnaps Vicky now for the 3rd time.
Literally, it's like he has such an obsession with kidnapping her because he's literally got a boner for her. And he orders the helicopter to pick them up in a few minutes as he's going to take her up to the Gotham Church, which is just a giant cathedral.
And give him 10 minutes.
Yeah, because of that, Batman survives this incident because, all we know, he's Batman. And the cops already entered the church as well, as Joker is actually going to have a plan to actually melt down this bell with the acid that he has in his flower. Yeah. It seems to not work at first, but then in a couple seconds, it's going to end up falling down, in which it does, and it starts destroying most of the staircases, not only to kill the cops, but also to make sure Batman can't get upstairs.
Yeah, and basically as a result of that one, it causes, Batman to,
get up, but he was...
just in time.
Yeah, and all these cops end up getting trapped because they cannot get inside of this room.
Which just makes me wonder, after all this is said and done, how are they going to get down?
And then Batman is left here alone as Joker is literally talking to him, which basically he's trying to figure out where he actually is. And there's nobody up here. And then we see one of Joker's henchmen literally begin to actually try to fight him.
Which is generally, this guy's a good acrobatic. Maybe he was with the Flying Graysons for a while. Anyway.
And with his knives in his shoes, he basically starts defends himself from it because, he can do it. And Joker starts dancing with her, and because basically... he wanted her, and then this Joker goon literally keeps on trying to, kick the shit out of Batman. But Batman's not going to stand down because he's going to keep on fighting him till he's dead.
Well, that's because he's Batman.
Yeah, after all, while they're basically fighting all of this, Joker is just dancing with Vicky Vale while holding a gun in his hand so that she cannot resist, which is kind of fucking really nuts. And Batman just keeps on fighting this guy constantly, as well as he constantly punching Batman in the face. But Batman looks like he's defenseless, but think again, he's going to get him back.
Yeah, and then basically he finally just defeats him, and then as a result of that one, he literally gets knocked in by the bell, and then he plummets to his doom.
Yeah, basically Batman isn't the person who literally kills people, but yeah, he killed that guy.
Well, no surprise at this point.
And Joker keeps on just making all this sweet talk around her because he's in love with her and is forcing her to do all this stupid shit because, he's just fucking insane and crazy and whatnot. When we all know that Joker is like that.
Yeah, and then basically, as a result of that one, Vicky eventually does end up, well, seeing Batman go by, and then basically able to signal her, basically, where she is, and then basically, Batman literally, it's time for his personal revenge, because now basically he can just reveal that he killed his parents to him, and then as a result of that one, basically,
He was doing it to get even.
yeah, at this point now, it's payback time.
Yeah, and the Joker reveals that it's not that big of a deal, and he's kind of sorry for it, but it's a little too late as Batman literally tries to kick the shit out of Joker.
And at this point, this is just no longer about an act of vengeance. This is literally just revenge, which is just strange for Batman because, I mean, even Brave and the Bold touched on this later on in terms of conquering the person that killed his parents. But it's just just weird to actually see him actually try to literally murder somebody like that.
As Joker backs up, Batman's literally making him go off as well as him almost about to literally get off the ledge itself. Yeah. And he tries to use the one last hand tactic.
You wouldn't hit a guy with glasses, would you?
But he ends up doing it as well as Joker, making you think that he plummeted to his death. But he grabs him, and
how did he do that? I'll never know.
Nobody will ever know. Only Jack Nicholson himself. And it looks like that they're on the ledge as Joker is already powered over them.
And then we get a scene very similar to that what the Joker did in The Dark Knight, seriously. And basically then just gets this ladder of sorts, basically by his henchmen to try and get him. But
as well as the helicopter coming right at him because his henchmen have been there, and it doesn't look like that took 10 minutes at all. But anyway, Joker's literally telling them to come up so he can literally get on, so they can literally plummet to his death. But before he can do that, he literally starts trying to break the bricks off because those are some very old bricks themselves.
And that's basically where his arrogance leads to his downfall. Rather than grabbing the ladder right away, basically he decides to do that. And then as a result of that one, this gets Batman the opportunity to tie his leg literally to, well, one of the gargoyles. So as a result of that one, he won't be able to climb up.
Yeah, because this string attached to his leg, he's basically stuck at this point because basically now that since that gargoyle is attached to his leg, he's not going to go anywhere anytime soon.
And then as a result of that one, it basically causes the gargoyle to literally be lifted up because that helicopter was strong enough to do that. But Jack Nicholson himself can't hold his weight with the gargoyle, so as a result of that one, basically, well,
he's stuck up there for a while until he literally gives in about it because he's literally on that last step, and when he actually does give in, he falls down with that gargoyle still attached to his leg.
Yeah, and basically that literally deals to the end of the Joker. Why didn't he try to climb up? I'll never know. And basically,
Vicky Vale and literally Batman start falling down, which reminds me of something that happened in Inspector Gadget.
Oh, really? Interesting choice. Anyway, so Batman uses, unlike Inspector Gadget, a grappling hook this time around, and basically, well, catches them. And then basically, the two of them have a nice little scene, all the while, meanwhile, the cops basically go back to the Joker, where they keep on hearing,
yeah. Yes, unfortunately, he just keeps on laughing the entire time as we see that Joker is finally dead. And what was that making laughing sound was just a tape recorder in his pocket. And then we get this nice assembly over here about how crime is just gonna no longer happen in Gotham City. But think again, because then after this movie is Batman Returns.
And then basically, well,
Alex basically tries to convince her to get this on the story, but she already admits that she's done with this. But it's okay because she still has a little passion and love for him because that's what he's literally still here for.
Yeah, and then basically
she says her final goodbyes with him because she literally kisses him a goodbye and literally she has to go home as well as Alex wanted to catch the story that's going on.
And then we don't see him again.
But we see Harvey Dent again.
Yeah, and basically Harvey Dent finally returns in this movie, where basically
he tells them of how they're gonna call Batman, or how they're gonna call Batman, or whatever, and that's by using the bat signal that they just built.
Yeah, and basically, meanwhile, behind the scenes of Batman Returns, Harvey turns into Two-Face.
No, he doesn't.
Yes, he does. He's just out of nowhere, Two-Facing forever.
Yeah.
So basically, yeah, somewhere on screen, he turns into Two-Face and returns.
Yeah, as well as Vicky Vale actually noticing the bat signal for herself, which must be a very cool thing to see in the sky
Anyway, so Alfred comes in, thankfully, with some champagne, and then basically offers Vicky a ride.
Back to, basically, I would assume Wayne Manor, but we all know that Batman's just going to be late for that because he's Batman.
Yeah, and
for no reason after all that.
And basically, Vicky she just accepts that this is a part of her life.
Because
this really sounds familiar now.
And it doesn't seem like a bit of of a surprise to her because, you know, it's just Batman. She knows who Batman is. And the movie ends off with basically them going off and Batman looking on top of this building along the bat signal, which is one of the coolest shots in this entire film for me.
Yeah, it's generally a cool shot.
So
Anyway, basically, the reason why I say that basically he turns into Two-Face during Returns is because in Batman Forever, which, yes, it's the same film series, basically Two-Face is already Two-Face in that movie. We don't see him turn into Two-Face. So I assume in Returns, Harvey Dent turns into Two-Face off-screen, to answer your question.
yeah. Anyway, so a brief overview on this movie. Tim Burton's Batman is just an incredible movie. I have to say, I love Tim Burton. His movies are just amazing. But for him to direct a Batman movie is just nice.
Yeah, it's generally just an interesting vibe to see because one thing good about Tim Burton is just the visual art styles that he chooses, and that just really shows in this movie as well, which is generally a good thing in general. But then there's problems with this movie, and basically my problem with it is one thing. It's not involving this movie itself. It's a similar problem that I have with Ted. Yeah, Vicky does not return in Returns, or Forever, or in Robin. She does not. She keeps on getting replaced, even though her story arc was accepting the fact that basically, well, she's dating Batman. Basically, however, the fact remains that she's just, well, off screen, basically, she does not work out with her, and basically Batman mentioning, well, that it didn't work out in that movie. It just bugs me here, too. Seriously, it's just like that Ted took that literally from Batman, which just bugs me for both movies.
Yeah.
You?
Yeah, that's kind of crazy, I would have to say.
Yeah.
But it's kind of nice to change most actors sometimes, I would have to
guess.
say.
But that's my one real minor complaint about this movie. Overall, acting's great.
Characters are great, the actors...
Yeah, I just wish Harvey Dent did something in this.
Yeah, I don't know, he might have to say he didn't really make an impact on this movie at all.
Seriously. And it's no offense to the actor. The actor did a good job in terms of
Oh, definitely. Of course.
Yeah, but it's just like that's just my two real complaints about this movie. Anyway, I personally give this a 9 at the end of that. You?
Yeah, I'll give it an 8.
Why an 8?
Well, it's not a perfect score, but it's a good movie.
Then why would you only give it an 8?
I just feel like it deserves an 8.
I feel like it deserves a 9.